Right then, welcome back to the channel. Manchester United player ratings versus Nottingham Forest. Now, there's going to be some people that get their knickers in a twist over this one, but there always is, right? And it is what it is. We might have our... There's a good chance this is the lowest ratings on average across like the entire team that I've ever done, I think. And it starts with the goalkeeper. It's 3 out of 10. It's the lowest rating I think we've given. What was it, a week ago we give the highest rating we'd ever given. Just shows the inconsistent nature of Manchester United, doesn't it? So Onana, 3 out of 10. Why is it a 3 out of 10? It's another night to forget for him. He's been really good. I did a video about him literally yesterday about how good he is. Drops an absolute stinker on us like this. But essentially he did legitimately nothing in terms of the game. Gibbs White's just hit one. It's wobbled in the air and he's completely missed it. It's a save you expect him to make. Not just like, oh, he should. No, it's like you expect him to make that save. Passing accuracy, 89%, sorry. It almost doesn't matter because he didn't make a save. 0 saves. And because it's 0 saves, and because one of them absolutely should have been a save, it's a 3 out of 10. Now that doesn't change the scores of the games when he's been good, which is like very recently he's been really, really good. But that was a 3 out of 10. Some people are incapable of separating that. Oh, so he was bad now, so actually we should have sold him. We should never play him. No, we can just look at what he did yesterday and say that wasn't good. It's quite straightforward, actually. Defense. We'll start with the low, right? I'm going to give him a 5. And again, I think I've said this every single time. This, certainly under Amorim, a mixed performance for him. Defensively, he did okay in 1v1 situations. He won 6 out of 9 of his ground duels. He made 6 clearances. His ability to overlap was evident because Forest sat back to a greater or lesser degree. But his crossing was shite. And that's the technical term for it. Shite. 0 out of 9. So it limited how effective we could have been with those attacking forays. And he struggled in possession. He lost the ball 21 times. That's why it was a mixed performance. Defensively, solid. Going forward, shocking. Shocking. Hence, 5 out of 10 performance. Martinez. It's another 5. 93% pass completion. The composure on the ball, completely evident. He got 4 accurate long balls. That ability to go from back to front directly and quickly is a huge asset for us and how Amorim, I think, wants us to perform. Defensively, though, far from reassuring. Mullered in the air by Milenkovic for the opener. The aerial weakness, an absolute glaring issue. He's about 2 foot smaller than him, for Christ's sake. He did make 3 interceptions and clearances, but he couldn't physically dominate that Forest line and was physically dominated. And they capitalised on set plays and his struggles in the game. Not just that as well, it was covering a little bit of the space to the left. It really mirrored United's sort of wider defensive disarray where it was errors. It was mistakes. A lot of yesterday was down to mistakes. It was just mistakes. De Ligt, 6, probably meant he was United's best defender on the night. He was strong in aerial duels. He won 3 out of 3. He had 2 crucial block shots. His defensive awareness stood out in a game where, Christ, nobody else's did. Proactive in distribution, 89% pass completion, 6 accurate long balls. Wasn't flawless, and that's why it's a 6, but it was a measure of stability in what was an otherwise very disappointing backline. And Leny Yoro, a boy we're pinning a lot of hope on. I thought it was an ideal game for him. When we did the preview, I ummed and ahed, didn't I? I actually didn't think Amorim was going to play him, but I said I wouldn't understand if he does because of the pace that Forest possess when they're countering. Now, we never really got a chance to see that. Forest either targeted other areas of the pitch or he wasn't the one that was dealing with them. And it's a 4 out of 10, which feels very harsh, but You go in. So he lost all 3 of his duels, and you have to win your duels. It's the as a defender, that's why you're on the pitch. The passing accuracy was excellent, and that's something that we've never really had an issue with the likes of Yoro. And actually, this defensive line has got fantastic pass accuracy, but he did not impose himself defensively. He was out-jumped. Was it the third? There was no real significant contribution in terms of defence. It was a lot of zeros, actually. I think he had 1 interception, and there was only 2 defensive actions in total, but I don't think it was any tackles, any duels. I think it was 1 interception, 1 clearance, maybe. Aggression was needed. Composure was there, certainly on the ball. Aggression was needed, and aggression was found wanting. So it's a 4 out of 10. Now, again, a little bit like Onana, I think it's probably not going to be a permanent solution or situation for him. But it was a 4 out of 10 performance. Bruno was at the heart of most of what United did. He had 2 key passes, which is not a lot for basically our main creative outlet. His distribution was pretty ordinary for Bruno, 75%. He did make several driving runs into dangerous areas, but his defensive contribution was poor, and he had an error that led directly to Forest's second goal. He lost possession 19 times. So while his influence on the attack was evident, the inconsistency from a captain and that reckless sort of nature undermined the overall performance. So it's a 5 out of 10 performance. Again, probably our best performer in a poor side was Ugarte, and he gets a 7.5. He managed to blend defensive contribution and solidity with intelligent distribution. 5 tackles, 1 interception, won 7 duels. He helped United regain possession in very, very key moments. And offensively, his passing was precise, 94% accuracy. He created 1 big chance. He's shown ability to impact both ends of the pitch. He's rounding nicely into a little bit of form. Now, we all kind of assumed Ugarte would be a big player for Amorim. I don't think any of us could have thought about just how big a player he's turning out to be for Amorim. Disjointed midfield, but he did well. 7.5 out of 10 for Ugarte. Mainu, 6 out of 10. Composure on the ball, again, almost like a byline. It's like the tagline of Kobbie Mainoo is composure. 92% pass accuracy. He delivered 2 key passes. He's shown maturity beyond his years with really good work rate. He won 7 duels. He made 1 tackle, but his influence waned as the game went on, and he struggled to contain the physicality of the Forest midfield. So it was an all right showing from him. Certainly not a poor performer, but yeah, he was up against it a little bit against Forest. Diallo, another one of the livelier players. I'm going to give him a 7. He was a constant threat. 3 out of 5 dribble success and 2 key passes. His ability to take on players and open up space was crucial. The final ball was lacking just a little bit, and his own end product was inconsistent. Decision making in the final third is there. It wasn't necessarily bad selection in terms of his passes. It was more maybe the execution of some of it. So it's a 7. He contributed both ways. He wasn't as in the game as he has been in recent games, but yeah, it's a 7, I think, for Diallo. In attack, 6.5 for Rasmus Højlund. His goal was predatory, converting one of United's few clear chances. His overall involvement limited again, though. 27 touches, minimal support from midfield. He did fulfill his primary goal, which is scoring a goal, but his inability to influence play outside of that maybe highlighted United's struggles to connect the dots. We had the possession. We had 71% possession. Yes, it was held in the back line to a greater or lesser degree, but I want more from him. Garnacho, 5. Frustrating. Again, missing clear-cut chances to score. Failed to register any successful dribbles. His passing accuracy was better at 95%, but he didn't really create anything. I've got to ask the questions of, what are you doing? When you step out onto the pitch as a winger, you have to deliver. You have to deliver opportunities for others and take your chances with shooting at the right moments. I don't think his decision making is good, and I might have to have do we do a video looking into Garnacho? Not just from a decision making, but I think his actions on social media are being called into question again. And you can find out yourselves, what he's been up to. But within half an hour of the game last night, he's liking tweets that are criticising Lisandro Martinez. This is where a real leader in this dressing room needs to get a fucking grip of this, because that is just plain and simply not fucking acceptable, is it? Right, in terms of the subs, Xerxes, 3 out of 10, no impact. No impact. 12 touches, no notable contributions, 3 out of 10. Well done. Rashford, 4 out of 10. The guy's a shadow of himself at the moment. Only 24 touches, didn't register a shot on target. Decision-making was poor. He looked disconnected from the game. For a player that we know has got the ability to be a match winner for United, his form at the moment is unacceptable. Mason Mount, 6 passes, 9 touches. Passenger, again. Lack of physicality, lack of awareness. This is a 4 out of 10, right? Just inability to influence the game at all. Just nice one. Cheers for coming. What was the point? Do you know what I mean? Maguire, steady, I would say. Won all of his aerial duels, 3 out of 3. Delivered some decent passes, long passes, 2 out of 4 were accurate. But the lack of tempo in his play was evident, and the pace during transitions. Positionally, he wasn't stepping out with the ball. He seemed content to sort of play bounce passes into midfield and then pass it again. Wasn't obviously involved in any of the goals, I don't think. But it wasn't a dynamic performance or authoritative. Like I said on the review last night, I've never known a manager substitute centre-halves as much as he is doing. But yeah, 5 out of 10, Harry Maguire. And that's it, innit? I think that's everyone I've covered. Mazraoui came on as well. 5 out of 10. Yeah, he's been absolutely ridiculous for us this season, but pass accuracy was high, didn't assert himself really in the game, defensively or offensively. He did get 3 tackles in, but no dribbles. It's quite a passive performance in a game where Forest sat deep and he didn't really look like he was able or willing to take any risks. So yeah, as I said, probably the lowest collective scoring that I've ever done for the player ratings. Amorim, I say 5 because you can't blame a manager for some of the individual brain farts that we saw. He set us up to dominate the possession, and we did, and exploit Forest's defensive gaps, which we didn't. The execution of what we were doing was poor. The continued issues defending set pieces, he's got to take responsibility of and fix that. Lack of cohesion in transitions highlighted the fact that the players aren't used to the system yet. Substitutes didn't influence the game. So yeah, it's a 5. Wow. That's depressing, isn't it? Anyway, cheers for tuning in. As always, make sure to subscribe. There's loads more content coming out on YouTube membership if you want to hit the join button, or on Patreon. The link for that is in the description. Otherwise, get out of here. I'll see you tomorrow when I'm sure we're going to be looking at who is going to be United's new director of football. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.